Chapter I, The Elegance of Babylon, 0 o'clock to 1:30. The video opens with a slow, sweeping three-dimensional pan of Babylon at its absolute peak. We are not just seeing a city, we are seeing the capital of the world. The hanging gardens are depicted with thousands of unique tropical flowers, exotic birds flying in for detail, and water falling from marble aqueducts. The sun is a massive orange orb on the horizon, creating long, dramatic shadows. Daniel's introduction, we focus on Daniel's face in a 45-second long take. He is standing on a high balcony. We see the moisture in his eyes, the wisdom in his wrinkles. He is not just a politician, he is a man of the spirit. He is wearing a deep crimson sash over white linen. He looks over the city with a mix of love and concern. The narrator describes his rise to power, his unmatched integrity, and how King Darius sees him as the most capable of all leaders. Visual detail, individual grains of sand blowing across the balcony. The reflection of the sunset in Daniel's pupils. The golden embroidery on his collar. Chapter 2, The Whispers of Envy, 1:30 to 3 o'clock. The scene transitions to the dark, torchlit war rooms of the Babylonian palace. We meet the satraps and princes. Their faces are a masterclass in character design, sharp features, thin lips, and eyes that dart around with malice. They are shown huddled around a massive stone table. We hear the scratching of quills on parchment. The plot, they discuss their hatred for Daniel. They realize they cannot find any fault in his work, so they must attack his faith. The dialogue is slow and calculated. They draft a decree that will forbid prayer to anyone but King Darius. We see the physical process of the decree being made, the molten gold used for the seal, the heavy breathing of the conspirators, and the eerie silence of the palace hallways. Visual detail, the smoke rising from the oil lamps in slow motion. The texture of the ancient papyrus. The cold, calculating smiles of the villains. Chapter 3, The Trap is SET 3 o'clock to 4:30. King Darius is shown in his throne room. The room is vast, designed to make the king look small despite his power. The satraps flatter him. We see the ego in the king's eyes for a brief moment, a human flaw. He signs the decree. The camera focuses on the ink drying on the paper. The sound design is heavy here, the sound of. The seal hitting the wax is like a thunderclap. The law of the Medes and Persians. The narrator explains the weight of this law. Once signed, it cannot be changed, not even by the king himself. The conspirators bow, their faces hidden from the king, showing their true, wicked expressions to the audience. Visual detail, the intricate patterns on the king's throne. The dust motes floating in the shafts of light coming from the high windows. The nervous twitch in the king's hand after signing. Chapter 4, The Unwavering Heart, 4:30 to 6 o'clock. Daniel hears of the decree. He does not panic. We see him walk through his house. Every footstep is heavy and intentional. He enters his upper room. He opens the lattice windows. We see the city of Babylon outside, now turning dark as night falls. Daniel kneels. This is a long, contemplative scene. He prays with total focus. The observation, outside, hiding behind columns and palm trees, the satraps are watching. They are like vultures. They point and whisper. They have caught him. The scene captures the contrast between Daniel's internal peace and the external chaos of the spies. Daniel's prayer is not out of defiance, but out of a deep, ancient habit of love for his creator. Visual detail, the sweat on Daniel's brow. The way the light from the rising moon hits his white hair. The sharp, jagged shadows of the conspirators in the garden. Chapter V, The King's Anguish, 6 o'clock to 7 o'clock. The king realizes the mistake. The satraps confront him with the news of Daniel's crime. Darius's face breaks. We see the transition from a powerful monarch to a broken friend. He spends the entire day trying to find a legal way out. He consults with advisors, pores over scrolls, and paces until his feet are tired. The final decision, as the sun touches the horizon, the satraps return. They remind him of the law. The king is forced to give the order. The emotional weight of this scene is amplified by a slow, melancholic orchestral score. Visual detail, the king's red, tired eyes. The cold marble floor reflecting his lonely figure. The sun setting like a fire behind the palace walls. Chapter VI, the abyss of the lions, 7 o'clock to 8:30. This is the most atmospheric part of the video. Daniel is led to the den. The den is an ancient, subterranean cavern. It smells of damp earth and predator. The growls of the lions are low-frequency sounds that shake the screen. The guards are terrified. Daniel is calm. The descent, he is lowered into the dark. The camera stays with him as the light from the opening becomes smaller and smaller. The stone is rolled over. Absolute darkness. Then, slowly, yellow eyes begin to open in the dark. One by one. 7 pairs of eyes. The lions are massive, prehistoric in size, with manes that look like dark clouds. Visual detail, the wetness on the lion's teeth. The scratch marks on the stone walls from years of captivity. The slow-motion movement of the lions circling their prey. Chapter 7, the silent miracle, 8:30 to 9:30, just as the largest lion prepares to spring. The screen is filled with a soft, iridescent glow. It's not a blinding light, but a comforting one. The angel appears. He is a tall, radiant being with wings that look like woven light. He doesn't say a word. He simply walks among the lions. He touches the head of the fiercest lion, and the animal immediately relaxes, purring like a kitten. The night of peace, Daniel and the angels sit together. The lions lie down around them, providing warmth. It is a scene of impossible peace in the middle of a death trap. The contrast between the danger and the divine protection is the core of the visual narrative. Visual detail, the translucent nature of the angel's skin. The lions fur glowing under the divine light. Daniel's face reflecting total trust. Chapter 8, the dawn of justice, 9:30 to 10:30, the king hasn't slept. He arrives at the den at the first light of dawn. The air is misty and cold. He calls out with a trembling voice. When Daniel answers, the music transforms into a triumphant, soaring theme. The rescue, Daniel is brought up. He isn't touched. The king embraces him, a rare show of emotion for a monarch. The conspirators are brought forward to face their own fate. The king issues a decree that Daniel's God is the living God. The video ends with a shot of the sunrise over the Euphrates River, with Daniel looking at the horizon. A symbol of faith that outlasts empires, visual detail, the dew on the grass, the tears of joy. On the king's face, the massive, golden sun rising over the new day.